for the serious gamer.
What's going on, guys? My name is Colin, and this is the first in a series of 3 videos that I'll be posting for Next Gen Tactics, covering some tips and strategies for the rush mode on Laguna Presa. And this first video is actually going to cover defensive tactics for the first base, and the next 2 will cover attack for bases 2 and 3, and then 4 and 5 respectively. And unfortunately, I don't have any current footage of a base 1 attack or a subsequent defense. So as I get that footage, I'll also post that up as well. And to start off this video, what I'm doing is just demonstrating a more forward, spread out formation, which you would want to utilize when you are defending 2 MCOM stations. And then later on, you'll see that I collapse around a single MCOM when that's all that's left. And this footage actually comes from 2 different matches. The first one, we actually started out defending 2 MCOM stations, and in that scenario, what I like to do is push forward and post up on a hill between the bases so that I can always be within 4 or 5 seconds of getting to Alpha or Bravo. And in the second match, we actually spawned in, and Bravo was already taken. So they have 67 tickets left, and we are trying to defend just Alpha. And I think that you'll find that by employing the strategy that we do, we're able to actually pull this off. So, spoiler alert, we do win this game on the first base. And what I'm doing is basically, I call out to my teammates that I'm going to assign myself the left-hand side and cover them. And what I want to do is basically patrol back and forth and call out the location of any enemies that I spot. And sometimes I'll get the drop on them and kill them. Other times I'll just spot them or call them out to my teammates. And that's fine. When you're on defense, you have unlimited tickets, so it is not about kill death. And what I want to make sure is that this UAV isn't armed with C4 and trying to go for sort of the cheeky C4 destruction on Alpha. So I can take a couple of pot shots at it. I'm going to leave it alone because he's not trying to get into the base, and I'll come back to it in a second. I'm just patrolling back and forth and trying to spot out enemies and call them out. And I didn't go for Alpha there because my teammates called out that they had it disarmed. No problem. And there's the UAV again. He's not going to be wreaking havoc on the MCOM. Something to note, you always want to spot the UAV. Always, 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 and try and shoot it down as soon as possible. Even if you don't have a weapon that you're comfortable with taking it out, look up in the sky, sight it in, and spot it. Call it out to your teammates so that maybe somebody with a more powerful weapon can take it down for you. And if you do it correctly, then defending a single MCOM station can sometimes be easier than defending both of them. Because what can happen is the enemy can use an arm on a single MCOM station. Oh, here's why you don't underestimate the Wookiee. He could be carrying a shotgun, and that's kind of the way she goes right there. But anyway, what a lot of teams will do is when there are 2 MCOM stations, they will use the arm on the first one as a distraction and go in and get the second one. And as long as you apply the proper strategy, it's actually not too bad to try and hold off a single MCOM station destruction. Because, again, it depends on how you approach it. Because if your team is going to act like it's the beginning of the match and they're going to push up towards the enemy spawn, then it's really easy for the enemy to sneak one guy in behind your line and establish a mobile spawn point, and then they're going to take the MCOM. So as the game moves on and you have 1 MCOM left, what you want to do is collapse your defense closer to that MCOM station. And I've seen teams very effectively basically camp 12 on the MCOM or around it and hold it quite nicely. You really only want to put the push on them when the tickets start getting low. Then you can sort of move towards their spawn, but you never want to leave your assignment back at the MCOM station. So you always want to have someone back there in that area, calling out enemies that are arming it. Right here, one of my teammates called out the arm. I pick out the guy who's on this, who actually got the station armed, and we know we can go in for the defuse. And what I also wanted to do was kind of sneak a quick review of the M16 in here. I used this gun an awful lot before the patch, and I found that after the patch, I wasn't used to it and the damage it would deal, and my rhythm was out of sync and I couldn't get any kills. I couldn't shoot my way out of a wet paper bag with this friggin' thing. But now that I've gotten kind of back onto it, when I put it in the context of the other assault rifles, it's not too bad. It's not as powerful as the AN-94, but I'm finding it gets the job done. And right there, when I went to try and disarm, I realized I got picked off by a heavy MG. So it's always helpful to look at the killer cam to see what he took you out with. And so I knew he was actually on the heavy MG in our base, and our medic picked me up, and I was able to go right around and take him off, because what you definitely don't want to have is an enemy sitting on your heavy MG mowing you down, because you're going to have the spawn delay, and if he gets enough of you, then they're going to have an easy walk right into the MCOM station. Right here, there's another arm, and we're very easily able to get in there and defuse it. I should say disarm it. We're not playing Call of Duty anymore, are we? So here I'm just going to try and take down some cover, and I actually notice I get a hit marker, so I'm just going to kind of patiently cycle around and wait for this guy to show himself, because I know eventually he will. And there he is, and he's down. But what you're seeing me do is basically cycle the defense. So, I am not pushing ahead of the MCOM station, which I've sometimes recommended you do. But what I'm doing is cycling back and forth. And when I notice that we're weak on one side, I'm going to head that way. So occasionally, if I see on the mini-map that we don't have the left flank well covered, I'm going to go over there. And if I see an opening on the right, same thing. And I find that's effective, and you don't always have to get the kill as long as you're not too far from your squad. Even if you can call out the location of an enemy, then you're going to be successful in holding them off. One thing you also want to do is just basically kind of stay around behind and flush out any mobile spawn points. And what happened right there was that guy running the engineer kit came in by himself and attempted to take the MCOM, and that's really not a smart move. So what you want to do, if you're on offense against this kind of defense, is try and sneak one guy behind the line. But what he should do is basically hide out. You don't want to engage the defending team unless you have to. Get behind their line and wait until some of your squad mates can spawn on you, so you have reinforcements. And then you have your mobile spawn point established, and you can kind of go in for the arm. And even if the guy who arms the station gets picked off, he still may have two or three teammates to support him and hold off the defending team from disarming it. Right here, I'm just spotting guys up on the hill, and we're down under 20 tickets now, so some of our team's actually making a push and being more aggressive. I'm still hanging back just to make sure that nobody gets around behind us. And this guy, he sneaks around behind us. I'm gonna just freeze frame here for a second. He shouldn't have killed me right there. That was a stupid move on his part, because he's all by himself. And because now I've called out his location, and he's solo, and he killed me, he's going to get wiped out, and he gets nowhere near the MCOM station. So, something to note. What you should do is, if you're on offense, and you do manage to sneak behind enemy lines, hide out and wait until you have reinforcements, because chances are, if you're playing against an even reasonably competent defense, you're not going to take the station down by yourself. But anyway, I'm kind of scatterbrained. I started doing a little weapon review on the M16, but I got away from it talking about tactics. This is a 3-round burst weapon, and it deals 14.3 damage per round at any range. So what they did in the patch was they actually reduced the max damage, so it's 14.3 across the board. So it's no longer as good in close quarters, but still about the same at range. But anyway, that's it. A balanced defense. We maintained a strong perimeter, collapsed around the MCOM when we had to, and got a couple of victories. So those were the scores from 2 rounds. Hope you enjoyed. Cheers. We'll talk soon.